Bubba Wallace just made one of the most talked about moves of the entire 2026 NASCAR season, and almost nobody is buying his excuse. What happened at Martinsville Speedway has the whole racing world picking sides. Let's go back to Sunday, March 29th. It was the Cook Out 400 at Martinsville, one of NASCAR's tightest and most famous short tracks. Carson Hocevar, the young 23-year-old driver of the number 77 Chevy for Spire Motorsports, was having a really good day. He started 7th and ran inside the top 15 for most of the race. His car was fast, his team was happy, and everything was going according to plan. Bubba Wallace, on the other hand, was having a rough time. He came into the race sitting 3rd in the Cup Series standings. His number 23 Toyota for 2311 Racing had looked great in Saturday practice. He was actually the fastest car in the final practice session. But when Sunday came around, the speed just wasn't there. Wallace was stuck running around 17th, way below what he expected, and that frustration was building up inside him. Then came the moment that changed everything. With about 77 laps left in the race, the field got a restart. Hocevar, being the aggressive racer he's known for, made a bold move. He dove to the inside and went 3 wide heading into Turn 1, squeezing right past Wallace. It was a legal move. Nobody broke any rules, but it clearly made Wallace angry. On the very next lap, lap 324, Wallace made his move. Going into Turn 3, he drove his number 23 Toyota hard into the back of Hocevar's car. That first hit didn't spin Hocevar, but the cars ahead were stacking up. Wallace hit him again, and then again. He just kept driving through Hocevar's car until finally, coming out of Turn 4, the number 77 spun around right in front of the whole field. What happened next was chaos. Cars were slamming into each other everywhere. 12 cars got caught up in the wreck, including Austin Dillon, Daniel Suarez, Chris Buescher, Austin Hill, Zane Smith, Eric Jones, Connor Zilisch, John Hunter Nemechek, Michael McDowell, and even Wallace's own teammate Riley Herbst. It was the biggest crash of the entire race, and it turned the front stretch into a parking lot. Wallace's car was destroyed. He finished dead last in 36th place and had to be checked out at the infield care center. But here's the thing. Hocevar's team kept his car running. He stayed on the lead lap, fought his way through traffic, and still managed to finish 17th. Right after the crash, Hocevar's team radio told the whole story. Hocevar said, "I just tried not to run over him, got destroyed." That's frustrating. His crew chief didn't hold back either, telling Hocevar, "You caught him sleeping. He left it open. Then he just ran over you. He lost his mind." When Wallace talked to Fox Sports reporter Jamie Little after the race, he tried to explain what happened. He said, "I misjudged. I didn't appreciate the 3 wide into Turn 1, fine, but I misjudged the center of the corner and didn't mean to turn him. What a frustrating day, man. Just wasn't the day we wanted. I hate it for our team." But almost nobody in the NASCAR world believed that explanation. The biggest reaction came from NBC analyst Steve Letarte, who broke down the crash with Kyle Petty on the Inside the Race show. Letarte said he believes Wallace absolutely meant to hit him and needed to get him off the bottom. He went further, explaining, he didn't need to wreck him to prove his point, but it was one of those that I'm going to hit you hard enough to move, and if you wreck, well, that's just the collateral damage of my frustration, Kyle Petty agreed, admitting he's been in similar situations himself during his racing career. Fox broadcaster Clint Bowyer called it out right there on the live broadcast. "Yeah, he was mad," Bowyer said while the replays were still rolling. "There's more to that story." Former Cup Series champion Kevin Harvick also weighed in on his Happy Hour podcast. Harvick said, "Bubba got riled up because Carson put him 3 wide on a restart and put him in a bad spot, and Bubba didn't like that. But, you know, it's Martinsville, and I've lost my temper a bunch of times at Martinsville and probably done stuff like this too. But it's tough when you crash a guy like that and then wind up in the crash yourself and your day is done and it wipes out so many cars." Even former IndyCar driver Marco Andretti jumped in, posting just 2 words on social media about Wallace: poor anger management. And then there's 7-time champion Richard Petty, one of the most respected voices in all of NASCAR. Petty didn't sugarcoat anything on his podcast. He said, "Kinda got into him, he just drove on in there and knocked the door out of him." But maybe the most surprising criticism came from inside Wallace's own team. Freddie Kraft, Wallace's longtime spotter, went on the Door Bumper Clear podcast and was brutally honest. Kraft said, "There's not really any sugarcoating about it. I gotta take Bubba for his word. He said he misjudged. If he misjudged, it was a really bad misjudgment. And it hurts," he added. "Hocevar did nothing wrong. He took us 3 wide into turn 1 and passed us clean. I think it was just a lapse in judgment for a moment." And then came the strongest words from Kraft. "If you want to be a contender for the championship or a contender to be top 5, top 7, 8 in points, whatever it is, that SH times T can't happen. Unfortunately, we ended our day yesterday self-inflicted." Kraft even admitted what many fans were already thinking. He said he knows Wallace meant to get into him, but doesn't think Wallace meant to end their own day in the process. He called the whole thing inexcusable. Denny Hamlin, who co-owns 23XI Racing with Michael Jordan, talked about it on his Actions Detrimental podcast. Hamlin said, "I made of it that Bubba wrecked himself trying to knock Carson out of the way. He just didn't let up, kept driving in there, and eventually it caused him to wreck himself and others." While Hamlin called Hocevar's 3-wide restart move a D move, he did not excuse what Wallace did in response. The damage to Wallace's season has been massive. He went from 3rd in the point standings all the way down to 11th. He earned just 1 single point for that last-place finish. Dale Earnhardt Jr. pointed out that Wallace has now given up roughly 60 to 70 points to his teammate Tyler Reddick, who has been winning races left and right. Earnhardt Jr. said, "It's a great example of why this point system is going to be so much fun, because if your driver burns out a fuse or short circuits in a moment like that, this is what it can lead to." And this isn't the first time Wallace has let his temper get the best of him. Back in 2022, NASCAR suspended him for 1 full race after he deliberately spun Kyle Larson at Las Vegas. In 2024, he got fined $50,000 for slamming into Alex Bowman on the cooldown lap in Chicago. Despite all the criticism, NASCAR has not issued any penalty for this Martinsville incident. No fine, no points deduction, nothing. That decision has only added more fuel to the fire among fans who think Wallace got off easy. Now all eyes turn to Bristol Motor Speedway on April 12th. Bristol is another short track, just like Martinsville, and it's famous for tempers running even hotter. Hocevar has already shown he's not going to change his aggressive style. Meanwhile, Wallace needs to figure out how to get his season back on track without letting his emotions take over again. With the new chase point system making every single finish count more than ever, another mistake like this could end Wallace's championship hopes for good.